We're starting a new lunar cycle this Tuesday, July 2nd, when we have a solar eclipse, which will be a new moon in the water sign of Cancer. Well, you'll have to be on a boat in the remote South Pacific Ocean to see the total eclipse, but I think we'll be happy with the beautiful ring that the sun's rays will make around the moon as she swims between the earth and the sun, July 2nd at 12:15 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Cancer moonbeams smell like memories of just-baked chocolate chip cookies. And for the 2.5 days, from dinner time Monday, July 1st, to the evening of Wednesday, July 3rd, our nurturing instincts are aroused. And along with that, we have this heightened sensitivity to the moods of the family and the people around you. And the good news is relationships are going to stay with a sweet tooth. Just as the moon leaves Cancer Wednesday, Venus, the goddess of love, moves in. So Venus in Cancer is going to add loving sparkle to all our relationships, especially with family and close friends, for the next 3 weeks, all the way to July 27th. Welcome, I'm Judith Royal. I'm an archetypal astrologer, and this is your Astrology Weather Forecast for the week of July 1st through the 7th, 2019. I think there couldn't be a happier, more harmoniously resonant astrological lineup for a 4th of July picnic than the one we have this week. Now we're going to have to do a little soul searching on Wednesday the 3rd, because the stars invite us to see, well, to really take a good look at the folly of family feuds and to raise the level of our love vibes to unconditional acceptance, even of Aunt Isabel's imitation crab salad. So the moon is at home in the water sign of Cancer, where our childhood memories are stirred up, but so that we can let go of the past and keep with us only those times of loving interchange between you and other people, because love is really the only thing that survives, that is eternal. And all the other junk that we might want to hold a resentment about, that's a nothing, and it can just disappear. I'm having a lot to say about a Cancer moon because this one is actually the curtain opening for a much bigger act that's going to follow in January 10th of 2020. We are going to have at that time another Cancer moon, only it will be a full moon and it will also be an eclipse. That's occurring just 2 days before the exact conjunction, the thing I'm calling a tipping point, the exact conjunction between Saturn and Pluto that has been building since December of 2017. The amped up volume of our lives is because we are now resolving the conflict that the sign of Cancer and Capricorn, which are in a natural opposition in the zodiac. They're 180 degrees apart. And it raises the inner stress between the angles of air sign Libra and fire sign Aries. So what is this? It's basically saying we are trying to resolve Libra's idea of having peace by intellectual reasoning. That is, Libra loves cooperation, avoids conflict, and wants to do that through diplomacy. But on the other side of her, and what wants to be integrated now is the Aries warrior. And Cancer's big sensitive feelings leave him sort of with this clenched fist and suppressed rage, all the stuff that ulcers are made out of, right? Now, Aries has a desire, unlike Libra, to confront the problem head on and to take immediate action. So he is thwarted now by Cancer's home and hearth and all that desire for heartfelt serenity, put your feet up by the fire. And, Aries warrior has none of that. So the Aries warrior wants to just trailblaze by hacking away at the thicket and the trees, but it's a big conflict because all that powerful energy coming from Capricorn now, and Capricorn always wants to take us to the mountaintop where we get this big objective view. But, Aries would rather chop the trees. He's not very interested in the whole forest. So these conflicting desires, for example, between Libra's air and Aries fire, like, can we have a victory? Can we win by reasoning and diplomacy? Or do we really have to pull out the big guns and just put up our dukes and fight? Or will we get that more objective view at the same time we have our hearts opening to the call finally for serenity and goodwill between all peoples? Perhaps it's the help that we're all getting from the messenger planet Mercury, who's now traveling in that campfire sign of Leo, where, we really love our tribe and we're loyal to those of our family and closest to us. But I noticed the conflict of these angles. That's the Cancer and Capricorn opposition. I was watching a movie it was sort of a action adventure film, and I noticed that I'm sitting here rooting for the villain to be caught and killed. And now, I don't even believe in that sort of thing. I was actually sort of hoping that this person in the movie would be murdered. I was like some sort of trigger-happy Aries warrior. And I've watched many movies, we all have, and worse things also on TV that are showing me the places within myself where I should be fact-checking for genuineness and for the authenticity of my beliefs as I'm acting on those and integrating them into my life here in the chaos of the world. So I mentioned last week we had that last quarter moon, which is the fact-checking for authenticity. And so the restless, kind of fast-paced life that many of us get drawn into right now really should be examined with that Capricorn objectivity and with that sweetly sensitive Cancer heart. And we're going to get an exceptional opportunity to do that because this Sunday, July 7th, Mercury will go retrograde until July 31st. And this will retrace our steps back to June 20th, but we'll retrace our steps back to Leo's lessons of loyalty. Is our loyalty misplaced, or is it really where we want it to be? And our creativity, does it find full expression, or do we hide it in the forests of our thoughts. And family, children, and the new birth of creativity and romance in our life is definitely in the focus here. And that focus is going to be like a laser beam with Mercury, the messenger, because from June 30th to July the 18th, Mercury is going to be pacing back and forth within a 1 to 4 degrees range in Leo. That's a very, very narrow hallway, so that it brings us a great intensity that we can't run away from, and actually we don't want to run away from it. We really want to turn and face it head on. For example, one of my dear friends I was talking to this week has that Scorpio spiritual ability to turn and face fearlessly even death itself, to look the difficulties, the fears, to look them straight in the face, stare them down, which dissolves the power they would otherwise have on us. And we're being given the perfect resonance, the perfect vibes from the stars to empower our inner warrior to take action, but to take action thoughtfully and with a fixed purpose. Because that Leo lioness is throwing in a strong dose of willfulness for us, which is going to kind of pop us and launch us into forward motion and give us an opportunity, a creative opportunity to do what we came here to do. Each of us, remember, has this one unique mission in life that until you fulfill that, the world as a whole cannot be healed. For all of us, that mission is some version of shining your light in the darkness of the world's chaos. Actually, that's the purpose of what we're doing here, looking at the astrology and the moon cycles, because the moon reflects the light of the sun into the darkest hours we have on earth. In the same way, we are here to reflect the light of love into the darkness of other minds. We all want to be happy, and I think that means we free ourselves from the ego's domination of world events and celebrate the power of being your own hero. Did you know that the birth chart for the United States, that is from July 4th, 1776, is heavily in the sign of Cancer? As a matter of fact, it has the Sun in Cancer, Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury, all in the sign of Cancer. So we really are a country that wants peace and serenity in our homes, in our hearths, and such meaningful synchronicity that the USA's birth chart has Pluto in Capricorn in the exact same place that he is now for this big tipping point that's coming the rest of this year. I think that means now is the time to resolve our country's entire birthright and mission, which is to exert power in a way that is not abusive, that is not single-purposed for one and not for the all, but rather to come into our power, to free ourselves. And in that chart, too, is this incredible willingness to work hard for our own freedom. Let's light some fireworks for the everyday heroes that are Americans. We're all in this alchemical big melting pot together, such that the heroic act of one of us affects all of us. It brings tears of joy to my eyes just thinking of how beautiful we are. Thank you for listening. And next week, I'm going to give you tips on handling Mercury retrograde, your inner journey, and give you a little prep for the lunar eclipse that's going to come July the 16th. Until then, let's make a declaration of our independence from fear. Bye for now.